Hi, you've probably heard the news lately. They're screaming the headlines from the rooftops practically because this is a big deal. Phase 5 is dead on arrival. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is the worst MCU movie of all time.
Ant-Man has the worst comic book trilogy ever. Burn it with fire.
But we're not talking about the whole trilogy today. No. That's another video. Today we're just talking about the finale of this trilogy, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Oh boy. Is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania actually that bad? Is it the worst Ant-Man movie? Is it the worst MCU movie? Is it the worst superhero movie? Is it the worst movie of all time? No, it's not. It's not that bad. But let's talk all about it because it is certainly interesting, that's for sure. Oh look, the video paused. That's weird. Well, while we're both here, how about you subscribe? Huh? It's super easy. Just try it. Try it out. Also, while you're down there, tell me your thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Or don't. I don't care really. It's up to you. So walking out of the theater, what did I think of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? Well, I was underwhelmed, that's for sure. As much as I wanted a small-scale Ant-Man movie similar to the first one, the trailers were pretty much telling me that dream would never happen. You know, they were telling me this was gonna be Avengers 4.5 just without the Avengers and with Ant-Man and his daughter. And this movie wasn't even that, honestly. It tried at times to be that. It tried to be Avengers 4.5, but it all just fell flat for me and probably for most other people. I do want to get into spoilers, but first I'm gonna give a quick little review, spoiler-free of course. It's not as terrible as some people will want you to believe, but it's definitely not good. It is the lowest low the MCU has reached in a very long time. I think quality-wise it is worse than Thor: Love and Thunder, but I still enjoy it more than Thor: Love and Thunder, just because that movie rubs me in a really bad way. It's both sides of every spectrum it's on, which makes it an extremely boring watch, and when it's not boring and I am having fun, there's always something that takes me out of it, which is a shame, honestly, because it is fun at times, but it's also extremely hard to watch at times. And I don't think it's trying very hard to be good either, which is an issue I do have with this movie. Peyton Reed, the director, has said on multiple occasions that this is not his normal Ant-Man movie. You know, he doesn't want to make the small scale stuff, which in my opinion just shows his true opinions on superheroes and his true opinions on Ant-Man. He should not be making Ant-Man movies, and if we do get an Ant-Man 4, please bring in a director that would actually care about the Ant-Man character and not about making the most money at the box office. It's shameful, and Peyton Reed does not belong anywhere near the superhero genre because he's just as harmful to it as someone like Taika Waititi is, or any of these other film directors that think that these are like the devil to cinema. I just keep Peyton Reed away from it, in my opinion. He doesn't need to be here. I don't want him here. I'd give the movie a solid 5 out of 10. It could have been so much better, but it also could have been so much worse. Okay, so spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back to the video. Use the timestamps and start right here, but we're moving forward. Spoilers. All right, let's go. I mean, I guess if you want the movie spoiled, keep watching, but I don't know why you would want that. Ant-Man and the Wasp find themselves exploring the quantum realm in this movie, where they interact with many strange new creatures, and they embark on a Star Wars-like adventure that pushes them beyond the limits of what they thought was ever possible, and honestly what should be possible inside of an Ant-Man movie. Like, the stuff happening here is absolutely insane to think about. Like, to think that this is where the Ant-Man trilogy is ending is really weird. But let's break this all down step by step. First off, the quantum realm. The quantum realm itself is probably where this movie shines the most, just with all of these different creatures, you know, some creative, some less creative, all of this different landscape and these windows into these cultures down here. It's all really interesting to me, and like I said earlier, it's very Star Wars, and that's definitely not a bad thing, but they didn't really world build as well as Star Wars does. If you're trying to do a Star Wars thing, you gotta actually make it feel like Star Wars, and one thing Star Wars has is all of the worlds feel very full, and the world building in this movie is fine. Like, it could have been worse, I suppose, but it left a little to be desired. I really wanted to see more of what the quantum realm was and how the society worked, but they never really went into that. You also do run into issues when trying to be Star Wars and build entire worlds out of green screens, and that is, it needs to look good, and sadly, this movie rarely, if ever, looked good. Now, usually you can take out your bias here and just try to enjoy the movie for what it is, because we know Marvel doesn't have great CGI these days. Just ignore it. I usually do. I usually try to ignore it, but this time, it was extremely difficult. This movie looks like it had a shoestring budget at times, when I know it actually cost them over $200 million to make. It looks like they filmed with green screens that they didn't know how to use, and that's a shame. It looks like Shark Boy and Lava Girl. How does that even work? Something's not adding up here. Now, obviously, this is due to overworked VFX workers because I know the MCU uses some of the best in the business, and we've known for about a year or 2 years now that the VFX workers want nothing to do with the MCU, and it's a real shame to me because this could have been a beautiful movie if, I don't know, it just came out later this year, or if it came out this time next year. Marvel, please listen here. Marvel, MCU, Disney, please. You have zero competition right now. DC is in shambles. You can take your time and make good movies if you wanted to. You're racing nobody but yourselves right now, and you're somehow still tripping over your own shoelaces. It's causing you to turn out stuff like this, and it's not great. It's not good for anyone involved, really. Now let's talk about what I was hoping would be my favorite part of the movie, Scott and Cassie. It wasn't. This feels like the most wasted story in the whole movie. You have Scott who lost all of this time with his daughter, and yet seems like they forgot that. The trailer really made me feel like that was gonna be a big part of the movie, but then it just wasn't. Like, if I had lost most of my daughter's life to being, I don't know, blipped out of existence, that would be devastating, but they barely mention it, and they play it off more as a joke than anything else. Cassie is resentful of her father early in the movie, but he never really does anything to earn that respect back, and she just changes her mind halfway through the movie. You also have Cassie just starting the film with a suit for some reason, her mom not being in the movie at all, even at the end for her like fake birthday dinner. That's really weird to me, and it just feels like they didn't want to bring the actress back, which doesn't sit well with me. She never really had a relationship with Hope in the first 2 movies, but now kind of does, I guess. I wanted to like Cassie in this movie. I really did, but I really didn't. She was probably my second least favorite part of the movie just because of the failings of her actress and also failings of her writing and her character in general. She wasn't terrible in the movie. I actually enjoyed Cassie at times, but there's just so much here that is not good. And when it comes down to the actress, she wasn't great either. Confrontation was not her strong suit, and neither was anything else. But I will say, when she got excited or happy, you could feel that emotion and it was great. But every other action or emotion she had in the movie was underwhelming and not delivered very well in my opinion. She was fine though, just could have been better. I did say she was my second least favorite because, well, MODOK was here, and I like MODOK. I really do. I've always had a weird soft spot for MODOK in my heart ever since I was a kid and I was watching Superhero Squad, right? That was my introduction to MODOK, and I love that character. And seeing what they did to him in this movie, hurt me. I mean, he was fine, I guess, but I was extremely disappointed by the lack of MODOK being, well, MODOK. He just felt like a joke and not an extremely funny one either, which is the real stab in the heart there. I wanted more from him. Also, how did he look like the guy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl? You know, the villain guy, but worse? Like, how does that even happen? Now for my favorite part of the movie, Kang the Conqueror. Oh boy, we're in for a real treat with him in the future. I can already tell. He stole every scene he was in this movie, honestly. I loved him. Jonathan Majors is the GOAT. I don't care. Go watch this movie just for him. Then go watch the Creed 3 trailer like 100 times. He's amazing. Much better introduction here than what we saw in Loki. Speaking of Loki, by the way, there was a Loki season 2 promo. It was okay, I guess. I mean, I wish I was more excited about the future of the MCU outside of Spider-Man 4, Guardians 3, and now maybe Kang Dynasty, because Kang looks cool. Like, this looks like a cool villain, and if this is our new Thanos, they're introducing him correctly, but sadly, I just couldn't really care less. This movie, by all means, was not terrible. It wasn't good, though. I don't 100% agree with the Rotten Tomatoes score. I know a lot of people are saying this is the worst MCU movie. I think it's down there for sure, but I don't think it's the worst one. I think the 48% Rotten Tomatoes gave it's a little harsh, just a little. I've been going back and forth for a while now, but I think I've settled on giving this movie a 65%. It is just so okay. Better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, not as good as the first Ant-Man movie. I don't feel like it was able to do a lot of the things it was trying to do, and trust me, it was trying to do a lot of things. But anyway, what did you guys think of the movie? Good, bad, somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, that's about it. Bye.